about the vaccine later on in the show. Okay.
Okay, cool. That'll be fantastic.
You,
all right, we are live now, guys. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one too.
You ready to rock and roll, Stephen? You got to unmute.
Greg Sneed.
Oh, Greg Sneed is taking it.
Yeah, I was just admiring this. There's a new announcement there that just flashed on screen. That first is that it's being recorded. So if you don't want to be here, you can get out or leave. And then there's another one that just popped up that this is being live streamed. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, so announcement and as before Greg gets started, I just want to let you guys know I'm teaching an entrepreneurial course with kids the ages of 13 to 18, and they will be joining us very shortly. It's from the Nifty Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, and they're coming both from Nifty Los Angeles and Nifty Southeast Florida. So they will be here shortly. They're on a Twitch. I was on a Twitch early today, my first time. I felt like an old lady. So now I came back over here with my peers. But okay, you can go to the Greg.
Good morning. Actually, let me put on my Kevin Nash voice. Good morning and welcome to the community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and we are here to entertain, but educate and fill you in on what's going on in the community. I have a company, Lifesaver Financial Services, where I help people feel better about your money, because I feel that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. So now it's my pleasure to welcome our host. We have a couple of hosts and hostesses. So our hostess is Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the community briefing. Glad to be here. Glad that you guys are here. We have a real exciting guest. We've all been waiting for this day. And so we hope you will enjoy it as much as we have been anticipating it. My name is Crystal Mitchell. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, as well as owner and operator of Mitchell Business Solutions. I host another podcast called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert that broadcasts live every Friday afternoon at 3. So join us over there as well. This platform was built and created, founded for you by us in order to make sure that the people that are making the decisions about us are sitting at the table having conversation with us, and we can get the information firsthand as opposed to the last second before they shutting the doors and we trying to sneak in. So we're the movers and the shakers and the stakeholders that look like us and are here to talk to you about business, about everything that pertains to us, making sure that we're economically sound and well as well. So thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to our other co-hostess, Miss Robin Billups.
Good morning, guys. Always glad to be here. I'm really excited because this young lady that's going to be our presenter today is my family. She's so committed to our community. She's so committed to life. And she's funny. She's very funny and very talented. And I'm excited to see my other sister, Beverly Kuykendall, all the way from Florida. And again, an exceptional businesswoman. So I think one of these years, we're going to invite Beverly, one of these months, we're going to invite Beverly to come on and talk about, pivoting your business, because she started in business in California. Now she's living and working in Florida. And she just got back from Washington, D.C. And this woman knows how to do government contracting. She knows how to work that system. So again, the whole mission of the briefing is to educate, to inform, and identify resources to support what we're doing in our community. I'm Robin Billups. I am the connector with the Billups Group. I'm a business consultant with 30-something years experience in commercial real estate, construction, financing, and supplier diversity. But more important today, we're just here to learn, to have some fun, and to identify some resources that we can, get off of this call and implement. So I will turn it over to Greg. Mr. Steve?
Mute.
Stephen, you're waiting to the end?
Always, you know how he is.
Okay. And Robin, I sent you a note in chat.
Okay.
And please, everyone, this is a networking platform as well. So put your contact information in the chat so we all know who you are and we can say hello to you and we can reach out to you. I'm excited about one thing before you get started, Greg. The Recycling Black Dollars Resource Guide app dropped yesterday. I am super excited. We have right now close to over 700 businesses already in there. We need you to go there. And I'm going to put the link in the chat because we got to still gain momentum. And over the weekend, we were at the Juneteenth event and we passed out about 250 flyers for people to scan the QR code to join free. And so we're going to be really pushing hard on that because we don't have financial freedom. We are not free until we have economic freedom. That's just the bottom line of it. And so I'm excited about that. So just pass that on, Greg.
Okay, Greg he's passed the baton to me. When we planned this month, Black Music Month, I made some suggestions on individuals that I thought would be exceptional for this time. We kicked it off with Wonka, who's the senior curator at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame out of Cleveland. She was recently here working at the Grammy Museum. Then we had Mr. Kevin Nash from KJLH. If you have not listened to his show, I strongly suggest that you listen to his show. These people that we bring on here are some very, very deep folks, but they're cool like that as well. And so today we have Karen A. Clark. Karen A. Clark is a military brat. She comes from a family of 4. She's a giver. She's a community person. She spent her time in fund development with Operation Hope. She's been in the banking industry, which is where we met, in construction financing. Subsequently, both of us ran two departments for the U.S. Bank. I had supplier diversity and she had multicultural marketing. We literally created those departments for the company on a national level. So we traveled together. So I'm not going to tell all the stories because she's a storyteller. What I can say is this: she's anointed. The Lord has blessed her with a voice. She has the ability to write. She has the ability to share her thoughts in writing. She does one-woman shows. She has CDs out. So she's going to tell you all about all of that stuff. So I'm just going to pass it right on to my god sister, who I love to death. We're like Thelma and Louise and proud of it. KC, take it from there.
Well, good morning, everybody. And thank you, Robin, for that introduction. That's my, as Robin said, she really is she's a friend. She's a business partner. She's also, my father done adopted her. Let the whole family know, made sure nobody had any objections. But she's actually my god sister as well. This is such a great forum. I've been a fan. I was telling everybody on the phone of Miss Crystal Mitchell for many, many years. Mr. Gregory Sneed is a good man, been out there on the front lines. Mr. Stephen Turner, he and I try to help each other when we can, good man. Ms. Beverly Kuykendall, I've been watching her in that supplier diversity space, in that supply chain management space, in that teaching space, and that being a role model space. And Miss Emma Maxey, how are you today? Got my good friend Jennifer Nickerson, who's a community advocate out there, on the front lines, works with me at City National Bank, good friend of mine. And thank you for having me, everybody. And it's so good to see each and every one of you on this phone. What an exciting month. What an exciting year it has been, right? Despite all of the challenges, I tell you, it has opened doors, has it not, for those of us who have eyes to see and ears to hear. There are many, many opportunities that are still just, out there. And so I'm so excited for this forum where we can help each other. So I am Karen A. Clark, and people are always like, well, what's with that A? Well, the A is my unique identifier, because if you ever want to find me, all you have to do is Google Karen A. Clark. But now if you just Google Karen Clark, you're going to get 10 million other people. I don't know what they do. I don't know what their reputation is, but your name really is all you have, your name. Because when people hear your name, they have a perception, right? And so I try to make sure that when people hear my name, they're thinking of the right person. I want them. Oh, Karen A. Who? Karen Clark? No. Karen A. Clark. Me. I'm the good girl. But I've been in this banking space for a very, very long time. I'm one of those people that fell into banking. I've been an entertainer all my life. And I thought that I would go to college and, work on a backup plan so that if that entertainment didn't work out, I would be cool. Well, wherever you put your time and energy is what manifests itself. So I've had a great life, but I got a degree in economics and came to LA with my late husband, and he had a degree in communications and filmmaking. So he was making no money at an indie film company. I was making no money trying to audition and get on someplace here in LA. So I went to a headhunter with my resume, and I had a degree in economics, and a headhunter called and she said, I have an interview for you at Wells Fargo Bank. And I said, what? Bank? I don't want to work for a bank. I don't want to be a teller. That's all I knew about banking, was being a teller. That's it. And I didn't have anything against tellers, but everybody I knew in college had flunked out on that assignment, could never balance. It just never worked out. And see, back in the day, there wasn't a whole lot of automation. It was a whole lot of manual. And I'm just like, that is not for me. And she said, no, it's in commercial real estate, construction lending. I said, well, what do banks have to do with construction? I just didn't know. What do banks have to do with commercial real estate? I had no idea that banks finance commercial real estate. I had never thought about it. I was just doing talent shows growing up. I never thought about what banks do. And so I ended up in commercial real estate construction lending, projects of $20 to $100 million in participation deals, and got my first management assignment in banking, and ended up with a commercial real estate unit in which I was the loan admin manager for a $7 billion portfolio of non-performing assets. So this was after Bank of America had purchased some bigger institutions, weeded out all of the bad assets, but we were left with many. And just to level set everybody on the phone, when I talk about banking, a lot of times in our community, it's just sort of this mysterious, I go in the bank, I cash a check, or I go online and I do my little business. But, where there is no knowledge, the people perish. And so we have to really learn and understand the importance of banks, the history of banks, and really what we should expect from banks. So I'm talking about, commercial real estate and construction lending, and you may not understand all of that. But what you do need to understand is that we all need a relationship with a bank. We need a relationship with the bank, and banking relationships within the Black community have been contentious from the beginning of time, right? Because banks financed slavery. They financed plantations. They financed insurance companies so that if they lost bodies on the way, they could recoup their losses. The relationship with banks have been contentious for hundreds and hundreds of years, but yet they run the financial system in this country. And even though we're moving to fintechs and blockchain and Bitcoin and all of that, there's still banks. There are still going to be big banks. And we need to start demanding good relationships with banks. Whoever you bank with now, you need to understand what services they offer. How do you get in touch with a banker and not just an 800 number? And you need to find out, regardless of whether you have $10 in the bank or $10,000 in the bank, what kind of services are they offering to help you grow? Do they have any financial education classes? Is there anywhere online that you can learn more? How, Mr. Banker, do I get from A to Z in buying a home? If they don't have any resources, if they have no community partners that can teach you these things, you need to be with another bank. We need to start increasing our expectations of what financial service companies should do for us. And in fact, we need to start increasing our expectations of what Fortune 500s and Fortune 1000s can do for us. Because quite frankly, diversity and the inclusion of diversity has always been a business case. That is why they put Aunt Jemima's face on a package, because it would sell. It would guarantee sales. That's why they use those slaves' recipes in those products that they sold with our faces on them. It has always been a business case. We have always been a people that they can bank on, literally, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And for that, and because we are still here, we need to start demanding the services that are due us. And so when I talk about banking, I talk about relationships, not necessarily what products and services that you can get, because they all offer the same thing. But what makes a difference from one bank to the next are the people in that bank. And so when you're shopping for a bank, if you can't get what, and I don't suggest you start hopping around and switching banks. I suggest you demand the services that are due you from the bank that you're at. And if they cannot provide that, then you start looking for another bank. And the way you find one is you walk into several different bank brands and you tell them, I'm looking for a bank. I want to understand what services you can offer me, and see how they make you feel. If they don't make you feel good, if they don't make you feel like you should be in their lobby, that is not the bank for you. That's not the branch for you. So I just wanted to level set, because I'm talking about these big, things and these big terms. But back to the story, that $7 billion of non-performing assets, we had to do something within a 5-year period. And my team did something in 3 years. We got through our 5-year business plan in 3 years. We either modified, sold, recouped the losses. But in 3 years, I was faced with 30 people who worked for me that did not have a job. And so I had to lay off 7 to 9 people. Others found their own job. And I said, what about me? And that's when I got into corporate diversity. And Bank of America had pumped a lot of $20 million into a corporate diversity program. And I got one of the 5 jobs that were still available out of the team of 17. And I traveled internationally for 4 years, teaching people all about unconscious bias, all about how to manage inclusion way back in the 90s. Fast forward, I went to work for Operation Hope and helped John Bryant build a development department and help them go from 3 offices to 11 in my 5-year tenure. And then I went to work for US Bank, where Robin and I hooked up. And I helped them to build their multicultural marketing program after I had worked in their CRA area. And if you don't know what CRA is, every bank of more than $1 billion has what's called a CRA obligation. That's Community Reinvestment Act. And they have certain obligations to the community. Just look it up, CRA. Go to the Fed Reserve website, FDIC, look it up, because you need to understand what banks, they have obligations as well. And it's up to us to, take advantage of those obligations. So anyway, here I am at City National Bank, but I've always been an entertainer. Black Music Month, love it. I just did a show last week, streamed a show. But I was dancing and singing from the time I was in kindergarten, 1st grade, and I never gave that up. And I always tell people, no matter what your dreams are, no matter what they are, we have 24 hours in a day. You have full 24 hours. And there's so much stuff that you can do. And I tell you what, never be famous, but I just love being on that stage. I love sharing my art and my talent. I'm working on my 3rd CD. In fact, it's down all the rough drafts. I'm about to get into the studio with some, real mixers and masters. Robin and I are working on a book. I'm just about finished with the book, and she's a contributing author. And it's called #Through the Glass Ceiling. And it's all about my adventures as a queen in corporate America. I've been queening through corporate America since my early 20s. And I've had the blessing of working at that C-suite level all of these years. And so the book is all about, fun adventures that I've had, many of them with Robin, but it's really hardcore lessons. If you're trying to find your way in a corporate environment and matriculate up, there are some hardcore lessons in here for particularly women and people of color. And so that's what I've been doing with my time. My new CD, I think I've settled on the title Superwoman. Superwoman with superpowers, on and on. They last for hours. And that song is important to me because at this age in my life, I'm not going to tell you exactly, but I'm right up there with the greats, Prince, Michael Jackson, Sade. I'm in that camp. And I always think that when we get to this age, a lot of people are looking for, I want to go sit down, I want to retire, I pay my dues, it's time for me to relax. But for me, it's like God has poured all of this experience and knowledge and information into you. And this is the time right now where you're supposed to blossom and shine and share that out and live your purpose and disciple and, make sure that those coming behind you have, something to grab onto. And so this is, the next chapter for me. And I'm just really excited to be able to share. You can find my music on iTunes, the Karen A. Clark Project, and every digital outlet. And be on the lookout for that book, #Through the Glass Ceiling, and podcasts to help promote that. And I'll put my information in the chat. But if you need any information about banking, small business loans, I'm the treasurer of the board of Pacific Coast Regional, which is a small business development center, one of 11 in the state. If there's anything I can do to help you, anyone will tell you, I will. I'll help you. I'll introduce you to somebody that can help you. I'll find the answer for you. I'll set you on your way. So it's been a pleasure.
Okay,
Thank you for having me.
We got some questions for you, and they're going to be between banking and entertainment. So, we're asking everyone to put whatever questions they have in the chat box. So Beverly Kuykendall, great question. Today, the Wall Street Journal featured an article about the disparity in the number of mortgage refinances between people of color and others. How would you suggest we approach our home banks to help us refinance existing mortgages to take advantage of the low rates offered today?
So am I understanding, are you talking about a person whose home is already in a foreclosure process?
No, this is just a straight refinance. What suggestions would you have for someone looking to refinance with their home bank?
Oh, with their home bank?
Yeah.
Well, I would suggest that you ask your bank what they're offering, first of all, but you want to compare that with outside brokers. And the best way to find a good outside broker is to ask your circle. Find somebody who has used, broker, because you want to compare those rates. Oftentimes you can find a no fee refi. I've done 2. I've done 3, actually. I bought a property in late 2012. And I live in it, but it's a 3-unit property. It's an income property for me, but I've refinanced 3 times at no cost. So it just depends on the broker, but yes, absolutely check with your bank, but compare those rates, and make sure that if you go with somebody outside of your bank, that it's someone that's been recommended to you, and you go online, check their track record, Better Business Bureau, all of that. But, somebody reputable, and compare rates and then see what they'll do for you.
Greg Sneed wants to know, can you share with us one of your favorite songs to sing? And that's not, I shouldn't ask this question because I know exactly what she's getting ready to say.
So one time me and Robin were at an investor meeting. This was just absolutely amazing. We were in Napa. We both worked for US Bank. And we were at an investor meeting in Napa. It was amazing. And, most investors we were minimum. I think we were 30 million in at US Bank, but it was a huge a portfolio, and they took the money and they invested in also affordable housing, all kinds of housing. But there was a new investor, like $100 million investor. And because of this person, they had a super special trip, all expenses paid, flight, limos. Me and Robin, we went. It was our relationship. And we're at a dinner in the cellar of this winery, and we're having a good time. And then Governor Jerry Brown was there. We're chopping it up with him. And Robin disappears. And then I hear "Summertime" on the piano. And the guy's like, "There, Karen A. Clark here. Can you come up and accompany me?" And summertime is my favorite song. And no matter where we go, travel around the world, if I hear summer and we're in a club and I hear summertime, I'm like, Robin's gone and talk to the pianist. And I get up and go sing my song.
I like that song as well.
Jerry Brown's thing was, we were at these two, it was like 3 big old long tables. One Black person at one table, me, and the other Black person at the other table, Karen A. And so when I came back and I sat down and she started singing, he's like, "Who is that?" I said, "She's with me. She's an entertainer. Her name is Karen A. Clark." You need to put your performances in the near term, because what will you be performing in the near term or the distant future? And yeah, she got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to start once a month. Once a month, I'll be performing. So I'll make sure that I got it out there on social. Mm-hmm.
Well, love that.
Here's another question from Stephen. City National Bank is known as the Bank of Stars. How does CNB achieve such an acknowledgement, and whom are some of the notable entertainers on your roster?
Yeah, so CNB, so let me tell you the history. City National Bank was actually founded by people from the entertainment industry and a few others, investors, but people who were really interested in providing services for people in entertainment, right? They just thought most banks weren't doing it well. And that was almost 70 years ago, huh, Jennifer? And 1954. And so that's how it got that moniker. They were really specifically serving the stars. And people have seen the famous photo of our former chairman, Bram Goldsmith, with the Jackson 5 in the vault. We put up the money for Frank Sinatra's son when he was kidnapped. I mean, there's a lot of famous stories, but some of the people that we have, I had a conversation with B.B. Winans the year before last for our annual Business of Black Leadership, and Reginald Hudlin of, Oscar So White fame, Emmys fame, director, producer, but just about every A-list star. And the thing is, the way we set ourselves apart, however, is, most entertainers that are business managed, they don't go out and find their own bank. Their business manager does that for them, right? And so make sure they have the best service, the best products, the best place to put their money. And so our business model is we really bank a lot of business management firms, talent agencies, entertainment attorneys and law firms, CPA firms that serve that industry. So we really capitalize on the market that way. And we have proprietary software that helps these folks. We buy companies that serve the industry. And so that we really have built an ecosystem where we understand every facet of the industry. We are the main bank in Broadway. We're the Bank of Broadway. We're the Bank of the Emmys and the Tonys. And we really just understand the business of show business.
That's awesome. And that's important when we're looking for banks that need to service our needs, is finding one that truly understands your industry or the business industry, because that makes a big difference. You just can't go willy-nilly down the street picking out banks.
That's right, Crystal. That's right. Because though they all have the same products and services, different specialties. If you're a farmer, you're not going to go just to any bank. It just really depends on what it is you're trying to do. If you're a smaller entrepreneur, you want to find a bank that really specializes in that really does a good job with SBA loans, or really has strong community partnerships with those organizations that can serve you. So Gregory, brought up the fact that we are the Bank of the Stars. We opened up a branch in the Crenshaw district, and we wanted to make sure, because in the Crenshaw district and in most big Black communities in the United States, because of our history, because when Black folks migrated from the South to the East, the North, and the West, they were crowded into certain geographies to keep them contained. We were not allowed to buy homes outside certain geographies. Well, in our Crenshaw district here in LA, that's why you have all income levels. You have low income, moderate income, affluent, high net worth, ultra high net worth within the 13 census tracts that make up the Crenshaw district. And so we knew when we opened up a branch there, we would have people from all income stratas coming in to be served. We don't necessarily have products that fit low income, but we have partners that can serve those clients. So it doesn't matter who you are. If you come in that Crenshaw branch, we can give you a warm handoff to somebody that can help you. So say you don't have what you need to start a business. We have a partner in Pacific Coast Regional Small Business Development Center. Gregory knows many organizations that can help you from the beginning of starting a business. If you need a home loan, but you don't have everything you need yet to qualify for a traditional, we have a relationship with Neighborhood Housing Services. And many people on the phone do. They've been doing a fantastic job for years and years. Robin's son got his home. Her youngest son got his home through NHS. And so what's important is that we find someone that can meet an individual where they are, not just turn someone away and say, sorry, you don't qualify. And that's really what every bank should be doing. And a lot of banks do a good job. A lot of banks do a good job. It's just a lot of people don't know the right questions to ask in order to get the services they need.
Exactly. And my thing is, I prefer going to banks where people make me feel like it's my neighborhood Cheers bar. So they know my name. So I bank at, was formerly Broadway Federal, but now it's the City First Bank. And I love that bank. Recycle My Dollars has been over there for the last 30 something years. Muhammad, had a recruitment of moving monies over there, Muhammad Nazardine, the founder.
Yes.
And I feel like when I go in there from the front door to the back door, everyone knows me. They call me. It doesn't matter what branch. And that makes me feel good as a business owner and as an individual parking my money. I want to be loved where I'm parking my money.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's the best way to find a bank. That's how your bank should treat you. And it's okay to have more than one bank. Now, when you get, X amount of assets, you get more than 250, 300, 400, $500,000, whatever. You want to make sure that you do have diversity of banks for your portfolio, depending on what kind of assets you have and how you have them bundled, right? But it's okay to have more than one bank. And the bigger you grow, the more likely you are to have more than one bank because of what we just talked about. You may have a bank that is your bank for your business because they specialize in this, type of thing. You may have another bank that's handling your wealth management. I mean, it just depends. You don't have to be tied to the same bank all your life, though. The most important thing is that you are getting what you need, that you are being served, that people know you, like Crystal said.
Exactly. So I have a question. Oh, well, actually, an ask of you. We have a lot of young people on the call today. They're part of a summer biz camp, a boot camp that I'm teaching for NIFTY, which is Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship for Young People. Are there any nuggets of wisdom you'd like to share with young people that are just aspiring new entrepreneurs heading into the business world, the banking world, and you managed to take a hobby, a love, and a passion and create a business out of that. But at the same time, you had to put food on the table while you were building the Karen A. Clark entertainer. So can you share some wisdom with them?
I can. And I tell you, young people, I'm actually the financial education director for Bill Duke's boot camp. Now, if you don't know Bill Duke because you're so young, just Google Bill Duke, producer, director, actor. But he's got a boot camp for young people that are aspiring filmmakers, content creators, that sort of thing. And we spend 12 weeks, an hour and a half a week on financial education because the most important thing is, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as just a person, you need to have a grasp on your money. You've got to have a grasp on your money, because you won't be able to manage anything if you don't know what's coming in, what's going out, and you don't have a plan for that money. You will end up in ruins. You will end up in debt. You will end up without a business. You will end up in bankruptcy. And so one of the things that we really focus on is understanding a budget. It sounds so simple, but you need to understand a budget. You need to have a personal budget and to be able to manage that, or you will never be able to manage your business budget, your business finances. And so we don't have time to go into a budget right now, but just understand these concepts. Everybody has needs in their life and everybody has wants in their life. And as you start to build your budget, the best thing to do, in my opinion, the easiest way, is just go about your business for a month and write down everything you spend every single day, every single thing. At the end of the month, look at that list and just highlight everything on there that was something you really needed, and highlight the things in a different color of things that you just wanted to have, but you could have done without. And you'll see the things that you really need. I needed to pay my cell phone bill so I can continue operating. I needed to pay my rent. Or if your parents are taking care of that, maybe you need to take care of some of your food items, whatever that is. And then do it again for the next month. And then when you build your budget, then you're going to start with just all those things that you actually need on a monthly basis. And you put down how much those things cost and you add it up. And you will know then minimally how much money you need to operate on a monthly basis. And so any money coming in has to go to those items. And that will allow you to take care of everything you need to keep going in order to get more money, right? And the other thing you need to really understand is that you have to find a way to save money. You have to. And if you're from an old school Black family, what you've always heard is 10%, save 10%. And I'm going to tell you something, it works. I don't care if you get $1, put a dime away. And I'm going to tell you why it works. If you do it on a very regular basis, just do it on a regular basis, you will form a habit. There is a formula to form a habit, and it happens whether you know it or not. But there's a formula, and it's called, I want to give you the exact title for it, but the premise is that if you do something regularly for 12 to 16 to 21 days, it will form a habit. And think about your life. Think about bad habits. That's how they're formed. You know, back in the day when I was in college, I started smoking. And before I knew it, it was a habit. And then I had to break that habit. That's how addictions are, formed. It's through habit. That's how good habits are formed. You go to the gym, you don't like it, but if you go every day for a few weeks, your body will start to crave it. It will then become a habit. Now, what's the formula? Often, pleasure, often habit. So here's the formula. If you do something often, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, it will become pleasurable. When it becomes pleasurable, you start to do it more often. And the more often you do it, it becomes a habit, and it happens whether you know it or not. So you might as well control your habits. The formula, here's the exact formula. It's REPOH. Repetition, easy pleasure, pleasure often habit. So it says if you do something repetitiously, it becomes easy. No matter what you do it repetitiously, it becomes easy, right? Once something becomes easy, it becomes pleasurable. Think about anything in your life. It works. It becomes pleasurable. And once something is pleasurable, you do it often. And when you do it often enough, it becomes a habit. And I tell you, it works for savings. And what will happen, even if it's a dime you're putting in that jar from a dollar you're putting in that jar from 10, when you start to do that often, it becomes a habit. When I come home, my change out of my pockets and my purse go into my big vase. It's just a habit. And when you start to see that money grow and you count it, you get very excited. I mean, you put those pennies in that jar and next thing you know, you got 40, 45 bucks and it's like, let me keep going. And you have to do that. You have to do that because in your life, you're going to have emergencies. In your life, you're going to have things that you need a little extra pot of money. You may have an opportunity that can make you more money. You have to create the discipline of saving. And when you go to try to get a loan for your business, the bank is going to want to know how much you have in it. How much skin in the game do you have? When you go to buy a house, they're going to want to know how much skin in the game do you have? You've got to save your money so that you can make moves. You want to be able to be a master of something and make moves. And so the better your credit, which we don't have time to get in, and the more savings you have, the more you will be a master of your own destiny. And you'll be able to have options and make moves and take advantage of the opportunities that are coming your way. You have opportunities coming your way. I'm going to tell you why. One, you're smart. You're in this doggone program. If you weren't smart, if you weren't looking ahead, if you weren't trying to, make something, you wouldn't even be in this program and you wouldn't be on this phone. So I don't even know you, but I already know you got something good going on in your life. You're young right now. People want to help young folks. All the marketers, all the brands, everybody, it's all about young people. Not even talking about millennials anymore. They're talking about folks down at your level now, right? You got everything going for you and you're Black. I can't even see all of you, but I think some of you are Black right now. Black is in. It's very, very in.
They're
so
Black
as long
and
as that
brown.
light is shining, take advantage. People will help you. People will help you. You can reach out and ask somebody to help you. You have all these people on this phone right now. It will help you.
KC.
They will help you. Reach out and ask a question.
Yeah, they're Black
KC.
and brown.
No, it's about brown too. Let me tell you something. It's all working right now.
And as we've shared with even the larger audience, there's a window of opportunity here. Take advantage of it. We're kind of running out of time, and I have two things that I want to pass by you. And this is very, very cool that Beverly Kuykendall added. Specifically, many young people do not have a bank. Rather, they manage their funds via Venmo, Cash App, various apps. Please compare and contrast these apps with a traditional bank for banking needs and uses. And I think you've hit on that in that when you have larger needs, these cash apps can help you, right? And then the other thing that I want you to juxtapose with that is the relationship. PCR, Colette is on here weekly. She's not here today, but PCR is our small business correspondent. Colette is our small business correspondent. So we have a strong relationship with Pacific Coast Regional. You and I have had a strong relationship with them since, I've been there for 40 years. So can you talk about these cash apps and what happens between the traditional banks and then also to the resources that we know are available through an organization like a PCR, the SBA, you name it.
Yeah. The cash apps. I mean, listen, I have them all too. I have them because that's the way of the world, right? Somebody wants to be Venmo'd, PayPal, I've done Cash App, but you still need a bank because, as Robin said, those apps cannot lend you money. You're not going to have a relationship with those apps. You're not going to be able to park your money there. And the more money you get, you want to have some place where you can put it where it's safe, right? Nobody's reaching under your mattress, going into your secret hiding place. You can't save your money with, those apps. So you really just want a banking relationship, again, for your own knowledge, information, protection, to be part of the mainstream of society. You want a banking relationship. And what was the other question, Robert? Oh, what was the other? PCR. So yes, I mentioned PCR, Pacific Coast Regional. The Small Business Administration, which is a federal organization, has set up, I don't know how many years ago, these small business development centers. And there are 11, I believe, in the state of California, but you could just Google Small Business Development Center. The thing that's so great about them is that you can go in there and get information, even if you don't know what kind of business you want to start, or maybe you know what kind of business you want to start. Even if you don't have any money yet, you can go into those small business development centers and get all the education that you need, including putting together a business plan. And a lot of people start a business without a business plan, but I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. You need a roadmap, and you probably won't get funding unless you have a roadmap, unless you can articulate where you're going, how you're going to do that. And that's what a business plan will help you think through. And these small business development centers, they will give you all the information you need, from business planning, e-commerce, finding, a spot, finding customers. I mean, you just get loaded up with so much information that then you feel confident going out and starting your business.
There's so much more that we can talk about, and we truly value what you brought to the table. But I will surmise it by saying you're telling people to empower themselves, right? Where you're placing your money, the relationships that you're building. If you're not asking and demanding and pushing towards what it is you're trying to accomplish, then somebody else is going to get your spot. That's always been my mantra. So, I'm sure you have one little snippet of a song that you would like to close us out with, and then we're going to turn over to Lamont Gibson, who's also going to talk to us about the vaccine, and then we'll close it out for the day. But this has been fantastic, just fantastic.
Some stuff, Karen. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Well, here's the hook from one of my favorite songs. It's called Passing Through My Ghetto. As I move from place to place, passing through my ghetto and looking at each face, my heart, it breaks each time I breathe. 'Cause I know my people are suffering, I grieve. And then it's a spoken word thing. My thing is, my whole shtick is spoken word, young people. Go to iTunes, look up the Karen A. Clark Project, and you can get a sampling of the tunes that are there. But the new CD is coming out, and it's going to be fantastic. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all so much. And thanks for paying attention. I love the conversation and the questions. Crystal, Robin, Greg, Stephen, I appreciate you.
Well, and the other thing that I want the audience to know, that all of her music, she writes. She writes every one of these songs, the plays, the spoken word. She writes it based on her life experience. So again, when you pull up the information, when you pull up the Karen A. Clark Project, understand that she's the author of everything that's there. And I love every bit of that. We have had a wonderful time. We're going to pass the baton over to Lamont Gibson, who's he's trying to be a retired pharmacist, but he's a pharmaceutical educator. And so he's going to give us a little bit of insight. But Karen A., I love you. I love you. This has been so
love wonderful. You back, my sister.
Wonderful. Love. Awesome. So we got Lamont.
I'm right here. And I must say, Sister Karen A. is Karen A. for reading. She is with her A game. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm keeping that.
And we love
that sounds like a song to me, Karen A. Clark.
and we love it. And we love it. And we love you for it. So keep getting up, my sister. Now, I hate to get into this other thing, but I have to. It's me. It's just what I do for strangers. So I have to do it for family, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk to you very briefly. I'm not going to do you like the preacher on Sunday, and I'm not going to ask you for any Monday. What I will do, howsoever, is I will try to keep it brief and tell the truth. That's not hard for me to do. And oh, by the way, speaking of relationships, how about we do this? How about we all have a good relationship, not only with our family, but also with our religious leader, whatever we choose to call that religious leader, and also with our physician. And oh, by the way, and it's not just because I'm a pharmacist, but while we're on the subject, we pharmacists are the easiest people for you to reach. Don't ask you for any money. All you need to do is just step up and holler. Please do that when you have questions that you need to have answered. Even if you're just trying to get a handle on your blood glucose, or, well, that might be a little deep for the youngins. How about we just trying to figure out how to deal with how we feel these days? That's something that the pharmacist can help you with, believe it or not, because we don't call it mental health. We just call it health. All of it is health. And it's important for us to appreciate the most important asset you have. The most important asset you have is your health. So remember that. All right. Now, moving on. There are vaccines and there are vaccines, right? Whichever one you choose, whether you like to do the one and done or any of those that will go unnamed, the majority of them are basically effective against the Delta variant. Or what would the what? Yes, the Delta variant. They we got the wild type, the original culprit from Wuhan. The Wu what? Yes, from Wuhan. That's in Asia somewhere, right? And the country will go unnamed. Now, for the purpose of stimulating young minds, particularly, and even not so young minds on the call, we can start with startpage.com because we'll not record your IP address. Having said that, do that for yourself and look up the Delta variant and the other variants as well. But it's important for us to know that the current vaccines that are available to you, whether you choose the 2-dose or the one and done, are allegedly effective, but you still need to abide by the CDC guidelines that were given to you originally. And we all know them. Hopefully we do. But even if you don't, how about we just keep our distance, wear face coverings, and exercise sanitation of our hands. Now, I say keep it simple. Put your gloves on and wash your hands before and after. The most important thing for us to do is to use common sense. Above all things, to thine own self be true. If you don't let yourself down, then you won't let your family down. Mm-hmm. See, because, yeah, you might have a red S on your chest. I used that one time, I have a red S on my chest. But I'm a gray beard these days, so I don't wear that red S anymore. I really never, ever did. Howsoever, I used to watch TV shows where there was someone who proudly wore that red S. I'm talking to you directly, to all of you who are here with us today. I love you all, and I care about you.
Lamont, thank you so much for your insight.
That's perfect.
Again, my name is Stephen Turner. I'm the managing principal of the State Group and a proud part of this particular team on community briefing each and every week. For a list of upcoming speakers, please visit our website, .communitybriefing.com rather. On the 1st of July, we have the award-winning cartoonist David G. Brown. You might have seen him in the Sentinel.
Oh,
he will be there
David.
July 1st. And also July 8th, we have the fabulous Carla Palmer, who's also on the line. Carla, I don't know if you want to say a few words about the 8th. Please visit us. And again, let's close by Krista Mitchell. Can you please give us a closing remark?
Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. Thank you, Karen. You serenaded us. You inspired us. You motivated us to go and put some money, take our 10% and our coins and put them in a jar so we can have money to buy a house. You are awesome. I can't wait to get your schedule because I want to come out to support you and just hear some good live music. I want to thank the kids that I've had this incredible 10 days, or will be 10 days tomorrow, with helping them move their business, the needle on their business, further along down the pathway. They are amazing. If you want to be inspired, go participate and volunteer at a Nifty program or at the Biz Camp that the Los Angeles Urban League is doing in July. They will really inspire you to take your business to the next level because that's what they're doing. Thank you all for joining us, and come back next week for our guest next week. Tune into the Business Zone on Friday. We have Miss Angela Gibson from the Greater Los Angeles African American Chamber of Commerce. So she's going to be helping to empower us about growing our businesses. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Greg. Thank you all for joining us once again. And we will see you next Thursday at 11 a.m. Tell a friend, mask up, keep your social distance, keep away from Delta so we can continue to see each other. Bye-bye, guys. Love you all.
Take care, guys. This was good. Really, really good.
It is. It was.